Number 1. Strangest Bible movie moment is...
Noah's Ark being attacked by pirates.
What?
Oh, you'll see.
No. Really? Welcome to Faith on Film, where we raid your church library in search of the good stuff. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Nathan. In 1999, Hallmark Entertainment produced an epic miniseries about Noah and the flood. They got Academy Award-winning actors like Jon Voight, Mary Steenburgen, F. Murray Abraham, James Coburn. It had all the makings of something amazing. But then when the world finally saw the miniseries...
Is it really that bad?
Oh, you'll see. In fact, I will take you step by step through the entire thing so you can see that.
Do we have to?
So Noah is a citizen of Sodom.
Wait. Sodom? You said Noah was a citizen of Sodom? As in Sodom and Gomorrah?
That's the one.
What? That's not... That city doesn't get destroyed until after the flood.
And he's best friends with a man named Lot.
Lot? As in Abraham's nephew, Lot? As in Abraham doesn't even exist yet, so why does his nephew exist?
Look, if you're just gonna bog down
These are little things. We're talking about two characters from two different Bible stories that have absolutely nothing to do with each other, and they're suddenly BFFs. That'd be like a version of Star Wars where Qui-Gon Jinn's best friend is suddenly Rey.
Are you gonna do this for every detail?
We're beyond creative liberties, and it's only the first 5 minutes.
So Noah's the only non-violent man in the entire city of Sodom because it's a terrible, terrible place, but in a very G-rated way.
You're just gonna ignore me, aren't you?
He comes home to his family, including his wife Naamah, played by Mary Steenburgen, and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, one of whom asks him if he brought home an ear.
Thought Noah was the only non-violent man in Sodom. Did his son just ask him if he brought home an ear? As in, Noah normally does this? This is a thing in this universe? Noah, defender of righteousness, and the bringer of severed ears. Ew.
So God contacts Noah in his bed. Rather than tell him what he needs to know now, tells him to go meet him on a mountain so they can discuss for further information. Because God is efficient. As Noah is relaying this information to Naamah, Lot's wife interrupts and asks where her husband is. When Noah refuses to tell her, he gets mad and falls into a vat of dye.
Okay, Carol Kane is hilarious. Love Carol Kane. Princess Bride, Scrooge. But why is she here? This isn't funny!
Noah then ventures off to the mountain, and God tells him he plans to destroy the city. To convince Noah that he means business, he manifests a stream of lava right beside him. Why this doesn't kill Noah, I have no idea. Divine intervention or something. It's also worth mentioning that God is voiced by Jon Voight, just like Noah is. Because if it worked for Charlton Heston, John Huston, and Val Kilmer, it works for Jon Voight, I guess.
Wait, one question. Why is Noah being singled out to be saved?
Well, he's the only non-violent man.
But he didn't do anything to actively stop anybody from being violent. He just kind of looked sad and then moseyed along his merry way. The only thing necessary for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. And that's exactly what Noah has done so far.
So Noah asks God if he will spare the city if they find 50 righteous people. God agrees, and then Noah begs it down to 10. In the book, Noah doesn't do anything like this. He just goes along with what God says and seems to have no compassion for anybody that dies. This is actually done by Noah's counterpoint, Abraham. And when Noah leaves, God tells him to not step in the lava.
Really? Don't step into the flaming death that has been created around you. Thanks, Captain Obvious.
This leads into a scene where Noah and Naamah try to think of 10 righteous people. They get 2, Lot and Lot's wife, whom they only select because they're friends. Everyone else, they just kind of think of something naughty that person has done and decide they're not worth saving.
Wait. Who are these two to be determining who the righteous people are? They're just... Why is this being played for comedy? Yeah, that one lady who was mean to me that one time. Yeah, Friar. Also, How does Nama know all these naughty things that all of her neighbors are doing? Is she like the town gossip or something? That's a little hypocritical, don't you think?
So Noah tells Lot about the impending destruction, and then he and his wife debate whether they're going to actually leave. They eventually decide they are going to.
Wait, aren't they supposed to have 2 daughters?
You're really going to question that now?
I guess not.
Noah blindfolds his 3 sons so they won't look back at the destruction like they were warned by God not to. Lot has no such plan. I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. Desperately wants to look back at the people who were occasionally a little mean to her, suffering. He does, gets turned into salt. And Lot says, well, I warned you, with no remorse, pity, grief, or despair.
Did he just break off her finger to keep it? That's really creepy. It'd be one thing if her finger broke off when he took her ring, which is also a little weird, but whatever. But did they put the ring on the wrong finger in the prop department, and just the wrong finger broke off, and then after Abraham went back and took another finger?
So Noah and his family are so upset by the destruction that they go buy hats from a roaming peddler. I'm just kidding. They're not upset at all. They make jokes about it. They do buy hats, though.
Now, according to the ever-reliable Wikipedia, the peddler, played by James Coburn, may or may not be God in disguise. Okay, this could explain why peddler is put in quotes during the opening credits, but one, if this is God, why is the only thing he's talking about selling things? Isn't the love of money like the root of all evil or something? 2, why isn't he admonishing these little brats for not being at least a little upset about all the destruction? Seriously, the kids are just like going, they burn, they burn, they burn! And this doesn't faze the peddler in any way.
In fact, he's more upset about it than they are because he doesn't get to sell to anybody.
That's also really cold. Finally, if I hadn't read this on Wikipedia, I never would have guessed that this peddler might have been God in disguise, because nowhere in the conversation does anything imply this.
It raises a weird question of why you wouldn't just have James Coburn do the voice of God instead of John Voight.
That too, he actually does have the deep dramatic voice for it. Voight, not so much.
So then 10 years later, Noah's an established...
Whoa! The destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah happened 10 years before the biblical... Oh, whatever.
Noah's an established farmer, and his 3 sons wander into town to see their love interests, named Miriam, Esther, and Ruth, who have no relation to the biblical figures of the same names. They were just the only names the writer could come up with. They do this despite the fact that no one in the town likes them for some reason.
Sure, why not?
Once they get there, they realize that Ruth, played by Sidney Poitier... No, not that Sidney Poitier. This Sidney Poitier is about to be sacrificed to Mole for rain. The priest is so out of his element, he forgets how to put his headdress on, and forgets that they are about to conduct a human sacrifice.
Whoa! Is he wearing the breastplate and robes of one of the high priests of Israel? What? The 12 tribes of Israel don't even exist yet! That is such a specific costume design! Oh, such a... Oh...
And then he asked their sacrifice how her mother's doing.
Stop trying to do comedy miniseries. You really, really suck at it.
What really gets on me by this point is that they're trying to fill out the story, but they ignore everything that they could draw on from the book. None of the characters reference Cain or Abel or Seth or even frickin' giants. How do you have giants in your backstory and shaft them in favor of Noah bursting in and calling down lightning? And one of the priests yells, "Ha ha, missed me?" And then lightning strikes all 3 priests, causing them to reenact the 3 wise monkeys? What the?
I guess Noah's doing something for once? Taking action?
It's at this point, 46 minutes in, that God finally tells Noah to build an ark.
You know, I think I would have gotten to that point maybe 20 minutes ago, but that's just me.
And they actually include Noah getting drunk. Out of order, but you know what? 1-point miniseries. It's the only one you've gotten so far. God tells the drunken Noah that he needs to hire help to build the ark faster.
Hire help? Hey guys, want to help me build an ark that I'm going to lock you out of when God floods the world and kills you all?
Yes, Superman's not the only one who's a jerk when he gets drunk.
Guess not.
And then Noah snores and it annoys his wife.
Please tell me this goes somewhere.
Sort of. He learns how to build the ark in his sleep, and learning is noisy. Book on tapes, God style.
So the next time my husband snores, it's because God is teaching him something. Okay, good to know.
Anyway, a couple beggars come along demanding food.
Hey, wasn't Abraham supposed to have top billing in this thing? Lot really hasn't been around for a while.
He's with the beggars.
Why?
He's the one with the eye patch.
Why does he have an eye patch?
You'll see in time. So Lot learns that Noah is building an ark, and then he goes on his merry way. And
Whoa! Is that his wife's finger in a jar as a necklace? That is so gross and weird, and people in this movie really respond to death a little unrealistically too well. It's like a minor inconvenience that you just brush off and move along your merry way.
they treat a lot of big things as minor inconveniences, as we will see in time.
Oh boy.
So it's at this point that God finally tells Noah the flood is coming.
Whoa! Noah didn't know what the ark was for?
No.
What did he think God wanted him to build an ark for? Recreational use? What was even the point of withholding that information until now?
God says he will drown the world in his tears.
Oh no.
This miniseries is officially borrowing imagery from The Simpsons. Noah then asks God if creating humanity capable of sinning was a mistake. God replies that he wanted humanity to know the difference between good and evil so that they would become a nation of prophets.
Did these writers even read the story of Adam and Eve? That's like the opposite of what happens.
Then the animals finally show up, parading down a single street through town. The townspeople get upset and form an angry mob, shouting, "Kill! Kill! Kill! Kill!"
I think that's something else The Simpsons did better than this miniseries.
They come to the ark, saying that it's rightfully theirs because they built it. Then the rain starts falling, and Noah's sons go to collect their love interests.
Why weren't their love interests already with them? You know that a flood is coming now, so wouldn't you keep your family as close to the shelter as possible? This isn't Home Alone 5.
Ruth refuses to leave her mother, so Ham knocks her out and drags her on board himself.
Holy crap, is that Wesley from the Buffyverse? So that's where he grew up hair.
This is one of the biggest issues with this miniseries, is that it plays the end of the world for cheap comedy, especially where the animals are involved.
Well, to be fair, that is a problem with the story of Noah's Ark in general. Just walk into your average Christian bookstore and you'll see, the ark with, the water and the cutesy animals and the rainbow and the smiley happy people.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Puppies!
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Bunnies!
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Penguins!
And Noah doesn't care. And you can play the apocalypse for comedy? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy proved that. But that was clever. This is not. For Arthur Dent, the main joke was, despite his pretensions to the contrary, humanity and Earth really don't matter.
For Noah, the joke is animals poop.
So then the peddler shows up again.
How did he survive?
He has a boat now.
Why does he have a boat now?
It doesn't matter. He comes to sell them things. And then he goes on his merry way out into the watery wilderness.
Why doesn't he just stay on the ark where it's safer?
Well, maybe he's going to sell to other people.
In a drowned world? I highly doubt it. Anyway, I thought they already bought hats. Who are they buying a hat for?
Percy the Penguin.
Oh, that's so adorably confusing.
And then the main attraction shows up, the pirates.
Wait. Is that Lot leading the pirates?
It is, in fact. Why else would he have an eye patch?
Oh my.
And no, these aren't just characters you could call pirates. They are, in fact, Arg, Yar, and Skull and Crossbones pirates. They want to take the Ark because they, again, say it rightfully belongs to them, or they need it to survive, or they want to eat the tasty animals aboard, or something. I don't know. And thus begins the most whimsical action scene in a Bible movie.
Something I never thought we'd say on this channel. You wanna?
We gotta. And
I've
we've never been to Greenland, and I've never been to Denver, and I've never been to pleasure in St. Louis or St. Paul,
and I've
never been to Moscow, and I've never been to Tampa, and I've never been to Boston in the fall, 'cause we're the pirates who don't do anything. We'll just stay at home and lie around, and if you ask us to do anything, we'll just tell you
we don't do anything.
So then God gets rid of the pirates by sending a tidal wave and a tornado at the same time, because I guess a global flood wasn't enough to kill everyone.
Okay.
And the pirates are never mentioned again. This leads into a long sequence where everyone starts going stir-crazy because the Ark isn't going anywhere. But we're not going to get into that because we've already hit peak insanity. But trust us when we say it is dull and boring. Then God reveals that he hasn't made up his mind whether he's going to let Noah and his family live yet.
You gotta be kidding.
This is resolved by Noah whistling.
What?
This impresses God, and he says, okay, you can live. And they send out the dove, then they find land, and then Noah's sons and all their wives to go off in their separate directions immediately.
Wait, no Tower of Babel?
We're almost done, just let it be.
Okay.
Then Noah says to God, we've seen many things, some which can be spoken of in words, and others which cannot.
Well, of course. Pirates attack Noah's Ark. Not even God is gonna take that seriously.
You don't get to play something for comedy and then later look back on it and go,
That's just terrible. So horrible.
And then God says, I need humanity as much as they need me, so I'm never going to destroy them again. Besides, they're good enough at doing that themselves.
Aw, this miniseries is trying to be deep and philosophical. It's so adorable.
And then it mercifully ends. So, what'd you think?
That was possibly one of the most pathetic excuses for biblical adaptation I think I've ever seen. The characters aren't developed in any way that makes any logical sense. We didn't even touch on the acid rain or the poop jokes or the rudder subplot or the suddenly nobody's allowed to have sex aboard the Ark rule people and animals for some unexplained reason, or the awful editing, or the fact that the music really doesn't match anything that's happening on screen.
I see we had a similar experience.
Of course we did! It's Noah's Ark with pirates! How can you take Noah's Ark with pirates seriously? You can't!
There's a little bit of awe in it that we don't think about when we simply read it. There is a lot of action and adventure in it as well.
The characters are stupid. The effects are stupid. The comedy doesn't work. The drama is even worse. Nobody is putting this on their resume. How did they get all these acclaimed actors involved in this mess in the first place? The entire running time of this thing is a what were they thinking Bible moment. And I am going to get you for this.
First things first, what rating do you give it?
Yeah, you figure that out. I'm out of here.
I give it a don't bother. I'm Nathan, and she was Stephanie. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
The Lord told Noah to build him an arky, Lord told Noah to build him an arky.
Great Abraham, George Corburn. It had all the makings of something else. What?
It's James Corbin.
What did I say?
George.
I said George?
How can you take something seriously when it's... How can you take Noah's Ark with pirates seriously? The characters are stupid. The characters are stupid. The effects... I really can't do this rant for some reason.
It's okay. It's the magic of editing. This is actually done by Abraham's counterpoint, Abraham.
Right. Abraham's counterpoint, Abraham.
Did I say Abraham?
Yeah, you did.
Aww.
My dad is calling.